Welcome back to Talking Fitchburg, live from not the ambulance, although it looks like
Sort
an
of.
ambulance in here. We're in the training room at the FitchRona EMS / Verona Fire Station. I go FitchRona first here.
Excellent.
That's
That's how it should be.
Now, the firefighter's going to be really upset with me, but we'll save that for another day. We are in the training room. We're with Jeff Doslick, FitchRona EMS, and it's training at its finest here.
Yes.
What we're looking at in here is an actual simulation lab, and I love how this training room's set up. I wish the training room that the EMS service I had was like this. This is amazing. I love it.
Yep.
But let's talk about what we're seeing in the room right now here.
Sure. So when they built the station, one of the big goals that Chief Merlin had was to put a training simulator together that would simulate what an ambulance would be like if you were in the back of an ambulance running calls. So hence we have the simulation room here. We purchased a mannequin, I believe it was last year. Got a nice discounted rate on it. We purchased a mannequin. And essentially what we can do is bring our paramedics in here. We can throw scenarios at them. They can run it real life as if that was a real patient sitting on here. I'm sure if you reach for a pulse, you could feel a pulse in the wrist. We can start IVs on the IV arm. If they need to intubate or do an airway maneuver, they can do the airway maneuver as well. And the goal was to have a stretcher, to have what we call the airway tech seat, a bench in here with supplies that they could just reach for. And that was the main goal. So we were very fortunate to be able to put that together, and we use it quite a bit.
Let's talk specifically about our SimMen here, as it's called at some services. What are the type of scenarios that you can deal with? You don't have to get too technical on us or anything
Sure.
like that, but what are the scenarios that the paramedics are training on?
Sure. So one of the things that we can do is run cardiac arrest and respiratory calls. So those are the main calls that we have. So we could actually stand outside the room. We have a video camera in here that whoever is running the scenario can just watch on video. We can film the paramedics doing their skills. But then we can just run the call. We can give them a scenario. We can change on the monitor here. We can change the pulses. We can change the blood pressures and have them react to whatever they're seeing as if it was a real patient. And that's the nice thing about SimMen. It actually can talk to you. It can cough. It can simulate that it's throwing up. It's actually a pretty marvelous thing.
Yeah, you can't hear it, but it is breathing right now, and we'll mic him up later. And why is it important for training? In this field especially, and I know I can answer this question, but
Right.
but how important is the training here?
So the skills that we have are pretty specialized. So when we look at training, the things that we want to look at are those high acuity, low frequency things that we don't do all the time. You can ask any paramedic, starting an IV is almost like second nature, but doing a critical airway maneuver is not. So with SimMen, we can do critical airway maneuvers. We can push drugs that we may not normally push. We can change the scenario that if you push the wrong drug, the mannequin will react to that. And I think that's the important thing about training, is to practice those high acuity, low frequency type calls. And the simulator gives us a chance to do that as opposed to practicing it on a real person.
Yeah, you don't get that opportunity very, depending on the day.
Yeah, true.
But it's the training that you don't always have the opportunity to do. What's the difference maybe with the training that you could do before you had the SimMen to what you can do now?
So prior to SimMen, we could talk about a call, we could talk about the scenario, and you're in EMS, you talk about it, and you're like, I put the cardiac monitor on. Okay, well that's good, but put the cardiac monitor on. Tell me what you're seeing. So the SimMen allows us to make changes as the paramedics do their skills. Prior to that, they would just tell us. That doesn't really mean anything. So watching those changes right on the computer allows us to make adjustments and see kind of really where they're at.
Quickly, what other trainings can you do that maybe wouldn't consist of just in here that you guys do train on a regular basis?
Sure. So we train with part of the Dane County ALS Consortium. They offer us 2 trainings a month with our medical directors. We're in that consortium with the City of Madison and the City of Middleton. The crews can attend those trainings twice a month. They also, starting in May, they'll have a hands-on skills training with the consortium. And then we also do training once a month, just in-house. So our medical director will come in here, we'll pull cases based on maybe what we've seen throughout the last month. Those high acuity, low frequency calls, we'll review those as a group and then sort of QA it together. And then we'll develop any training skills that we need to develop through that. You can't see it, but over on the bench over here, the training mannequin that we have, we own one, and then we also house the Dane County training mannequin here as well. And that training mannequin, it can go out. We can take that outside. If we wanted to do an extrication with a car, we could throw the mannequin in the car, and run the same scenarios out there that we can in here. And that's really important because it's not always in the back of the ambulance, but it's in somebody's house, in the bathroom, or it's in the car somewhere that somebody has an issue. So the mannequins allow us to do that.
Perfect. Jeff, if they want to learn anything more about FitchRona EMS, anything that's going on, where can they find out more information?
Sure. So you can give us a call, 497-2951-608. That's a direct number to me. You can visit us on Facebook. We have a Twitter account as well. If you're interested in doing a ride-along, we do allow that, a limited basis, but you need to have your immunizations, sign a waiver, and sign a release. If you just want to come down and visit the station, just give us a holler, come down, we'll walk you through the station and show you some of the things that we've talked about the last couple of times we've been on.
Perfect, Jeff. Well, thank you for allowing us
You're
to
welcome.
visit
Thank
again,
you.
and I'm about to practice a mega code here with Jeff, so what we'll do is we'll take a commercial break, and we'll be right back. It is Talking Fitchburg.